Well, a Liberal senator has hit out at the Morrison government for agreeing to fund half the infrastructure costs for the proposed 2032 Brisbane Olympic Games. Senator Gerard Rennick says the Commonwealth should be investing more money into regional Queensland rather than the suburbs of inner-city Brisbane. He joins me now from Rockhampton. You're not happy with the PM's decision to bankroll the Olympics, are you, Senator?
Hi, Peter. Yeah, look, it's a question of priorities. In regional Queensland, we've seen the decline of essential services over the last 30 years under Labor governments. We've basically had dams pulled down, the closure of maternity wards. The state opposition, the LNP state opposition, has been doing a very good job prosecuting ambulance ramping. We've got violence issues in domestic violence in the schools. I just had a story told to me last week of a mother who pulled a child out of a school and out of Brisbane because her son couldn't walk between classes without being beaten up. So our funding on essential services is way down in Queensland, and I don't think that we should be spending money on the Olympics. I'm not against the Olympics if it could be done cost neutral, but I'm extremely sceptical that could happen. And when Annastacia Palaszczuk came out 2 weeks ago and said she wanted to spend $1 billion on knocking down the Gabba, only to rebuild with another additional 8,000 seats, I just thought that was a step too far, and we need to make sure that, I just don't think we should be committing funds to that sort of reckless expenditure.
Yeah, Senator Rennick, I think I'm with you, particularly on the 50-50 split, because this will now set a very dangerous precedent, I think, where states will go out there and try and score these big international events. There's no debate about it. It's certainly not taken to an election necessarily. It's not negotiated with the Commonwealth. But this will be a precedent where the states can go out there and the politics of the Olympics sounds good for the Premier and expect the federal taxpayer to be there on the hook for half of that cost. What do you want to see happen? Are you talking to Canberra? Is there any chance that they can wind back some of this money or ensure that there's a dividend for regional Queenslanders?
Well, look, the message that I've sent to the Prime Minister is that I want money spent on essential services. I actually would like to see a constitutional convention take place where we sort out the fiscal imbalance between the state and federal government. Where we get much more accountability from the states on the way they spend money. Annastacia Palaszczuk has made it an art form in blaming the federal government for everything, and that's my fear with this, is that she controls the media here in Queensland. When she was first elected back in 2015, she pretty much brought out most of the media, commercial media in Brisbane. So whenever she wants to put a story out, that will be on the front page and you will not hear another half of the story. So going forward, if we commit to 50% of the funding, anytime she doesn't get what she wants, she will go out there and blame the federal government for something not happening, regardless of whether or not it was her fault.
I want you to have a look at some commentary over the weekend, or it might have even been Brisbane today, but it was certainly from the Queensland Deputy Premier Stephen Miles. It was pretty unedifying. Let's have a listen.
Scott Morrison's in town. He's holding $5,000 a seat fundraisers. So think about that, will you? Albo's here with us at Labor Day, while Scott Morrison's charging $5,000 a head to have dinner with him. What a contrast. Don't we need contrast? There's a contrast.
Your response, Senator Rennick?
Look, I don't want to talk about Stephen Miles. If we want to win the state election in 3.5 years' time, we can't let him be the distraction from the poor-performing Palaszczuk government and their failure to deliver essential services. Now, Labor do this very well. They protect Annastacia Palaszczuk, whether at first with Jackie Trad, and now it seems to become Stephen Miles, where he plays the distraction. For the record, the Prime Minister is actually up here tonight in Rockhampton. He's attending a number of functions, and he's been here at Beef Week today, and I think he's going to be here again tomorrow. What I want to talk about is essential services, and what we need to talk about is the delivery of good government. And Stephen Miles has a great knack for getting in the media, distracting away from the poor-performing Premier, and today's another classic example. Don't care about Stephen Miles, and he's incompetent, and we need to get that across to the people that we expect better.
Well, very well said, and that's good analysis, Senator Rennick. Enjoy Beef Week. I think it's an incredibly important event on the national calendar, and it just underscores how important agriculture, particularly cattle, is in Queensland and right around the country. Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much, Peter. Have a good night.